Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we have a mid-month character rebalancing patch. There's only 2 characters in it, so let's jump right in and digest the details of the patch, what we can expect, and what this might mean for future patches down the road. So we are getting reworks somewhat for both Black Widow and Captain America. Before I get into the details of each character, I do want to say that while I am very happy that Netmarble is looking back at old characters and continues to do character rebalancing and updates, choosing these 2 Avengers out of all of the Avengers that you have and out of all the characters that need rebalancing is probably not the best way to go about it. It will draw fans in and it will keep people happy for the time being because they're extremely popular characters. But Captain America and Black Widow are fairly stable in the game right now. They're not meta, but they're useful in a lot of different game modes, and you can't really go totally wrong by upgrading them. Whereas on the other hand, characters like Iron Man and Ultron and others are practically useless, and you will be going down the wrong path and wasting resources by building them up. So I am kind of happy, sad, bittersweet for this, but let's jump in and see what we're getting. So an interesting part of this rework is that it's not actually being done just to skills, it's being done to all skills for almost all uniforms. So I think what this signifies for Netmarble and for us is that they're trying to go back for characters who have multiple uniforms and create some parity. Because right now, as it stands, at least for these characters, their most recent uniform is far and away better than their other uniforms. There is no reason to buy any of the other uniforms for crystals or gold when the newest uniform is the default uniform. It's the best one far and away. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring up the power level of the other uniforms and also chip in some buffs to the characters. So Captain America is getting attack range pretty much boosted on all of his skills. That means that he's going to be able to start his attacks from further away, which is good for Shadowlands and good for World Boss. He doesn't have to be in so close in order to start the animations, whether they can trigger iframes, whether they can trigger, passive effects or obelisk effects or ISO effects. His shield throw skill is getting an improved animation, but the big part here is that it's getting 3 seconds all immune. So on a 7-second cooldown, which you can reduce to 3.5 seconds, he will be immune for 3 seconds. Now, this goes across all of his uniforms. I'm assuming that also means the default look, but we'll have to wait and see. It's less impactful with his newest uniform, Marvel Now, because this is already an iframe, so part of those 3 seconds will be consumed by your iframe, but still, that's fantastic. Might be the thing that catapults Captain America into serious consideration for maybe, a B+ to A tier character. Not quite S tier, but this could really solidify his role with all of his debuff potential, immunity, and his supreme tankiness. In addition, they're giving a lot of his skills additional, crowd control pseudo abilities where they either pull in enemies or kind of spin them around, and they're also reducing the amount of knockback that a lot of his skills have, including heroic, fury, and shield strike. So that should make him a lot more consistent in Shadowlands, and it might actually make him better in auto modes like Alliance Conquest, but we'll have to wait and see. In addition, they are changing shield strikes cooldown from 8 seconds to 7 seconds, so you have another iframe with the Marvel Now uniform to cycle through, and they're just improving a lot of his animations. Again, they're doing this across all of his uniforms except Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron. Now, I don't know why those 2 uniforms were left out. I think it's because some of their skills are different. So for example, the 3rd skill, Shield of Valor, if you are not familiar with the Winter Soldier uniform, it calls in Winter Soldier as a summon. So they're not going to change that skill, and that's why it's left off of this list. In addition, the Age of Ultron uniform, I think, is not being changed because it changes the skill quite a lot. It has a taunt plus all allies defense buff, and I think that they judge that to be better than what they're giving it otherwise. He's still going to have the immunity on the 1st skill, so it's still a very powerful rebalancing for Captain America. If you don't have him built up, I wouldn't rush to do it because it's not going to make any game mode easier, but if you have him sitting around and you have spare gear up kits and stuff, I would definitely recommend gearing him up, maybe even considering tier 2ing him if you've got already 30 or 40 tier 2s. He's not a bad combat hero to begin with. He's got debuff potential as well. So things are looking up for our, Sentinel of Liberty's Justice. The second character that's getting buffs is Black Widow. That's not Black Widow. The second character that's getting buffs is Black Widow, and again, it's trying to alleviate some of the disparity between her uniforms. So I'm going to go right into the uniform analysis to show you guys what Netmarble was thinking, at least what I can see. So on her newest uniform, which is a Civil War uniform, which is regarded as the only one that you should spend crystals on anymore, Pistol Strafe has a 8-second dodge buff on a 12-second cooldown, and it also has a partial iframe. So keep those numbers in mind, because as you guys can see, her Age of Ultron uniform and her Secret Wars 2099 uniform are both being changed or modified to include those same qualities, as well as her default look. So Infiltrator now becomes a full iframe. The buff is reduced from a 30-second cooldown to 12 seconds, and the duration of the buff is reduced from 20 seconds to 8 seconds. That mirrors exactly the buffs and the skill changes that Pistol Strafe originally had. That's interesting. So that is really good. That shows that Netmarble wants to keep their uniforms somewhat balanced and doesn't want to create this giant gap between one uniform and another, where one is obviously superior and one is terribly inferior. That's good for the uniform upgrade system. That's good if you like this look, for example, although I don't know why anyone would. It's a bit scary. And it's also good because it does point to the possibility that in future updates, we could get uniforms that, if they are better, they include a slight rebalancing to old uniforms. For example, if Thor gets a uniform now, I expect that his Age of Ultron uniform will reflect some of those effects that his other uniforms have. That skill reduction or that damage reduction is very useful. If this uniform had it, I'm sure a lot more people would use it. Not to say that it's better than this one, because this one changes his skill animations, but there's still some room for interpretation there, and hopefully it's a trend and not a one-off from Netmarble. But what else are they giving a Black Widow? So for all of her uniforms, they're increasing her normal attack range, so she can start attacking from further away, be a bit more ranged. Widow's Bite, her first skill, is getting an animation change. I don't know what that means. It's not iframes, it's not damage, but okay. Acrobatic Assault, which is where she jumps back and uses her guns, will get a partial iframe when she's jumping back, which is nice. It's getting its damage increased, it's getting an animation improvement, and it's getting a range improvement. So this is just getting buffed top to bottom. And then her fourth skill, Systema, is also getting a buff to damage and some range in both the skill's trigger and its effect. So it's going to be a bit more of an AoE skill, nothing like Coup de Grace. I probably mispronounced that again, but it's going to be better than it is now. And right now it's like so-so. So we can't really expect too much more from that. The only caveat here, I don't know why, but they said here that the final details are subject to change. That kind of throws into question everything they've listed for us. I think it's just there to kind of cover their backs in case something has been poorly worded. I don't think they would actually go back on any of these promises about iframes or improved damage, but we'll have to wait and see. In addition, for her newest uniform, they are changing Pistol Strafe to a full iframe to be in line with the rest of the skills. So now it will, always kick Infinity Thanos out of his iframe ability, his Meteor skill, if you're using that for that reason, and it will do other things for you. But that's not all, guys. In addition to those two character rebalances, we are also getting a new World Boss Ultimate. And if you weren't tired of this mode yet, you're in luck, because we're getting another boss. We're getting Corvus Glaive. Now, I'm a little bit hesitant to say that I'm happy here. I do want to see what they're going to do with Corvus, but if we do follow the pattern that they've laid out for both Proxima and Black Dwarf, he's going to have a skill cooldown increase on his second and third and fourth and fifth phases, which is super annoying and makes it very difficult for most characters to compete in this game mode at all. In addition, because Corvus natively on his World Boss stage has a lot of dodge and requires a lot of dodge ignore, it's starting to develop this strange feeling that I have that tells me that all of these World Boss Ultimates are going to center around dodge ignore. We've already seen that people have had great success with dodge ignore strikers in their striker team. We've also seen people actually switch around their obelisks on Doctor Strange to include dodge ignore to improve their scores on phase 3 and even phase 4 against Black Dwarf, because it is possible now with those specific setups. I'm not unhappy to see that Netmarble is trying to branch out the diversity of obelisks and include dodge ignore. But if dodge ignore is going to be the theme of all of these world boss ultimates, it's not a very ultimate mode. It's just stressing one type of obelisk, and if you get lucky with, you know, dodge ignore, crit rate, or crit damage, and a damage proc, then you've just hit the money, and you can go ahead and clear it. Otherwise, you gotta kind of suck your thumb and sit in the corner because you can't really play with the big boys. I have mixed feelings about this. I hope that they do something creative and something new. I hope they don't make him respawn more than twice, because that would be really dumb. And I hope that they will add something new to the stage, because Corvus is one of the most boring world bosses because of the fact that it's just the same fight 3 times. If they do that in World Boss Ultimate, except his HP is multiplied by 20 and his defense is multiplied by 15, and he's got some other silly phase 3 and up restrictions, we're going to lose our patience even quicker for this game mode than we already have. However, the best part about this announcement, guys, we will get first clear rewards. So you can expect things like, rank up tickets, black antimatter, chaos nordstones. I can't wait to see what first clear rewards we have for the Corvus World Boss Ultimate. I'm hoping for a tier 2 ticket, because I'm on a bit of a binge these days. If you guys have not been keeping up with the live streams, we got tier 2 Hulk now, boys. We got the green monster and the red monster. But I digress. The last thing that they are introducing or improving is they're fixing an issue with Friends Call Assist, where if you called in Baby Groot to help you during a stays, he would be like 40 feet tall, which was hilarious. And then they're fixing a bug that I didn't know existed with Supergiant. So overall, guys, I do want to slow it down for a second and give you guys my overall opinion on this update. So the analysis is, this update is kind of crap, and it's kind of crap because it's not doing enough, and it hasn't done enough fast enough. It's been basically a month since the Guardians of the Galaxy update, where we got Mantis, Agent Venom, and Whiplash, and in a month they decided to kind of rebalance 2 characters that didn't really need rebalancing and add Corvus to World Boss Ultimate. That's a pretty bad month's worth of effort and time and work. Not to slag the developers at the Marvel Future Fight division of Netmarble, but you can definitely do better than this. I'm sure in 24 hours somebody could come up with some reworks to Ultron, give it 72 hours, and you can throw in Iron Man to that list. You could have made this a 4 or 5 character rebalancing, and people would be satisfied. I promise you. If you had done more here, I think that people would have taken this seriously. But because this is so meager, this is, you're asking for a handshake and someone gives you a tug. It's really not comparable. In addition, I am kind of worried about the next patch. Are we going to have to wait another month for another patch? So that's 2 months in between Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a bit disappointing, and whatever they have planned next. Hopefully 2 weeks from now, I'll be back here again with you guys talking about another character rebalancing for characters like Vision, Venom, Iron Man, and Ultron, and others that desperately need them. But if I'm wrong, guys, hang tight. Things will get better. They're maybe just going through a rough patch right now because Jonathan left, and they're looking for a new RNG specialist. The last thing I wanted to let you guys know is that the update time, or the maintenance time, is going to happen 15 hours from the drop of this video. So if you don't know what time it is, just look at the clock as soon as my video goes live. Hopefully you're watching it at that time, and then add 15 hours. For those of you who still can't do the math, it's from 2 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. on the East Coast of the North America. It's from 11 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. on the West Coast. Thank you for the playback. On the West Coast of the US, this is on the 24th, by the way, guys. And it's from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon for me tomorrow. And I'll be at work, so that's great. Anyways, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on this character rebalancing mid-month, full-month patch. Let me know what your thoughts are on Night Nurse not posting these notes, but someone named Double D posting these notes. Do we have a new community manager? Where is Night Nurse? Anyways, guys, hit me up in the comments. Let me know. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow and on the Speedrun Hype live streams for Shadowlands. I'm coming for you, bro. Take care.